The tennis community is responding to Coco Gauff's inclusion on Time magazine's list of the 100 most influential people of 2025 in unexpected ways. While supporters applauded, Aryna Sabalenka's answer has everyone talking. The reactions from other players show more about competition and recognition than anybody could have predicted. The acknowledgement triggered discussions about who should have influence, what it means to be influential, and if tennis accomplishments alone should matter. Who gets on influential lists based just on sports accomplishments, or is it more important to use your platform for social causes?
Cover of Time magazine, why the tennis star is playing for herself now. After bagging up $23 million last year and winning the U.S. Open, I think she's the first American teen to do so since the Venus and Serena days, but y'all can check me on that. I don't got all my tennis facts on deck like I used to. The shoot is one of my favorites of Coco so far because she is really serving, no pun intended. All of the poses, her eye contact with the camera, everything about this shoot is definitely giving Vogue, not necessarily Time magazine. I also am peeping the Vivienne Westwood. Do we need a fashion collaboration? I would love to see that. She definitely has the look for the runway, or at least a couple editorials, maybe even be the face of a brand or two. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and follow if you're on TikTok.
The tennis community was rocked by the announcement. The 100 most influential people of 2025 were announced by Time magazine. Not only was Coco Gauff's name on the list, but it was also prominently displayed with a cover picture session and a long biography outlining her significance outside of tennis. The 21-year-old American was positioned as a future-shaping figure alongside global leaders, innovators, activists, and entertainment giants. It served as confirmation for Gauff and her fans of all that she has done on and off the court. For some of her competitors, the reaction was entirely different. Social media was the medium via which Aryna Sabalenka responded, and her remarks were unmissable. Interesting how influence gets measured these days, with a thinking face emoji. She wrote in a mysterious message that she shared on social media. She then provided statistics comparing her Grand Slam victories to Gauff's, her weeks at the top, and her tournament victories. The connotation was very evident. She believed that her accomplishments in tennis alone should earn her recognition. She couldn't ignore the slight that Gauff made the list, but she didn't. The tension was immediately noticed by the tennis press. Everywhere, headlines began to question if Sabalenka had a point or whether she was just being sour about not being acknowledged herself. Supporters split up into factions. Supporters of Gauff noted that having an impact goes beyond simply winning competitions. It's about making an impact outside of your sport. Fans of Sabalenka contended that the primary factor in selecting which tennis players are recognized on esteemed lists needs to be their exploits on the court. Deeper considerations regarding what we value in sports and who is recognized in contemporary culture were brought to light by the argument.
Manifested.
Yes.
How you feeling?
It feels great. I always wanted to win this title. I won the junior one, and I just felt like this was one that was just really meant to be in. To have it happen and still feel so surreal.
Let's be honest about what transpired. Because of her ranking and number of Grand Slams, Time magazine did not include Gauff on its list. She is there because she stands for something greater than tennis. Millions of individuals who might never watch a tennis match have found resonance in her use of her platform to speak about social justice, mental health, education, and empowerment. She now speaks for her generation, someone that young people admire for her morals and her ability to stand up for what she believes in, not just for her backhand. Despite all of her amazing tennis accomplishments, Sabalenka hasn't developed the same kind of cultural significance. She is one of the most powerful players in women's tennis at the moment and a fantastic player. She has a scary power game. Her results speak for themselves, and her mental toughness is astounding. However, she isn't out there addressing social concerns, starting foundations, or giving lectures at youth summits. Her concentration on tennis is admirable, but it also means she doesn't produce the kind of influence that gets you listed in the Times. There is no greater contrast between these two players' approaches to their public platforms. Gauff never stops considering her legacy outside of tennis. She expresses a desire to be known for more than just victories and defeats. She makes a conscious effort to use her notoriety to promote causes close to her heart. Sabalenka, meanwhile, focuses mostly on tennis. Her interviews center on competition, strategy, and games. She has no intention of becoming an activist or social critic. She has the freedom to choose, but decisions have repercussions. She also doesn't receive the same cultural acknowledgement, which is one effect. The reaction is intriguing because it shows that she feels insecure about her own legacy. She wouldn't need to openly discuss Gauff's historical significance if she were genuinely happy with her achievements and content with being known as a great tennis player. She is disturbed by the attention and recognition Gauff receives for purposes other than tennis, as evidenced by the fact that she felt obliged to share those statistics and opinions. It implies that she might believe her own accomplishments are being disregarded or underappreciated. In reality, different newspapers use different metrics to quantify influence. Players may be ranked by Sports Illustrated only on their athletic prowess. Forbes assigns rankings based on business impact and earnings. Time is ranked according to cultural influence and societal impact outside of your field of expertise. In reality, Gauff's understanding of that distinction and positioning herself appropriately is a wise career move. She is creating a legacy and brand that will endure after her playing days. She has a long-term perspective that many athletes don't have until it's too late. Supporters of Sabalenka contend that the main consideration in any tennis-related honor should be her accomplishments. That seems reasonable at first glance. Shouldn't the players who win the most be honored if tennis players are being honored? But the Times list isn't about tennis in particular. Influence in all spheres of society is the key. When athletes have an impact on culture outside their sport, they're included on the list. Michael Jordan created comparable lists for changing basketball culture worldwide and sports marketing, in addition to championships. LeBron James made these lists for his commercial endeavors and advocacy. It also matters when Sabalenka responds. At a time when she should have been enjoying her personal accomplishment, she wrote her response immediately after her victory in a major tournament. She was more concerned about the recognition that Gauff was receiving. That's telling. It demonstrates that Sabalenka is aware that Gauff is winning in the eyes of public opinion and cultural significance, regardless of how much she wins on the court. For a competitor accustomed to winning everything she attempts, that must be discouraging. Other parties have also voiced their opinions, although primarily in a more diplomatic manner than Sabalenka. Iga Świątek publicly congratulated Gauff, saying it was a well-earned honor for all of her accomplishments on and off the court.
That is the reaction of someone who is confident in their own achievements and isn't intimidated by the accolades of another player. Jessica Pegula expressed her pride in her friend and doubles partner with encouraging posts. Given her platform and importance, even those international players who are not particularly involved in golf agreed that the recognition makes sense. The golf-themed photo shoot at that time became a topic of conversation in and of itself. They positioned her to represent the combined roles of advocate and athlete by holding a book in one hand and a tennis racket in the other. The beautiful and robust styling conveyed Gauff's strength and consideration. The future serves back. The headline was a creative wordplay that had several meanings. Gauff was positioned throughout the presentation as someone who matters outside of sports, which is precisely what Time intended to say and what appears to be bothering Sabalenka. It's interesting to note how this circumstance reflects larger discussions in sports about what sportsmen should do for society, in addition to providing pleasure. Shut up and play was the previous model. It was expected of athletes to be appreciative of the chance to compete and refrain from using their position for any political or contentious purposes. That model is no longer in use. Athletes today, particularly the younger ones, recognize their influence and feel obligated to exploit it. Gauff is a superb representation of the new model. Sabalenka's response implies that she feels more at ease with the previous paradigm, in which outcomes were the only thing that mattered. It is also impossible to overlook the generational component of this. Gauff grew up in a social media age where establishing a personal brand and interacting with people directly are commonplace. Being a digital native, she knows how to make the most of her platform. Despite being relatively young, Sabalenka appears less at ease or engaged with that aspect of being a contemporary athlete. She lets her tennis do the talking, which is laudable in some respects, but constrictive in others. Athletes who adjust to the new world have advantages that come from more than just performance. All of this took on a new dimension when Serena Williams wrote the profile of Gauff for Time. Tennis has never been Serena's only passion. She has created commercial empires, advocated for social causes, and utilized her notoriety to help others. Serena is aware of both arguments, so her support for Gauff's inclusion on the list is significant. She has won every tennis tournament and established a reputation that goes well beyond the game. For players like Sabalenka, who don't have the same endorsement from legends, Serena's clear statement that Gauff merits this distinction must have been hurtful. This recognition has enormous commercial ramifications for Gauff. Companies are interested in partnering with athletes who are culturally significant outside of their sport. In spaces where cultural influence matters more than tennis rankings, Gauff's inclusion on the Times list raises her prominence. She gains additional appeal to non-endemic sponsors, speaking engagements, media opportunities, and collaborations that could provide her with lifetime financial stability. Despite having greater tennis performances, Sabalenka is likely aware of this and upset that Gauff is receiving opportunities that she might not otherwise have. Though it's unpleasant ground, there is also something to be said about the role that nationality and race play in all of this. Gauff is a young, Black American woman who has a beautiful voice when talking about social issues. Many people care about representation, and media outlets are becoming more careful about who they support and honor. A white player from Eastern Europe, Sabalenka, is not really involved in social concerns.
In 2025, representation and optics will be important in ways that they may not have been previously. That isn't meant to diminish anyone's achievements. It just acknowledges the facts of how cultural recognition functions. Today, the kind of tangible activity that supports Gauff's effect is the Serve for Change Foundation, which she founded. She's talking about more than just changing things. She is giving resources to underprivileged communities and financing digital learning centers. She's acting in accordance with her words. She has credibility because of that real influence, which comes from more than just athletic accomplishment. Sabalenka hasn't started any similar projects, which is okay, but it means she isn't creating the same kind of impactful legacy that makes lists like the Times. Gauff has established herself as a leader in the field of mental health advocacy. She speaks candidly about the demands placed on young athletes, the harm caused by continual inspection, and the significance of emotional health. Young individuals coping with their own mental health issues can relate to those discussions. Gauff is more relatable and significant than someone who only wins tournaments because she normalizes such difficulties and demonstrates vulnerability. Once more, Sabalenka is not focused on this, and that is her decision, but decisions have consequences. Surprisingly, nothing has been said about the entire affair by the tennis establishment. The WTA made no announcements regarding Gauff's acknowledgement or responded to Sabalenka's response. Tennis authorities and tournament directors largely avoided getting involved. That silence is intriguing because it implies they are unsure of how to respond in circumstances where cultural influence and tennis success diverge. They are accustomed to celebrating victories in tournaments and ranking points. They lack precise frameworks for dealing with situations in which a player has greater cultural influence than another, despite having fewer tennis accomplishments. Following this issue, a fan survey revealed resounding support for adding Gauff to the Time list. More than 80% of respondents agreed with the acknowledgement and said that influence goes beyond athletic accomplishments. Just 15% of respondents agreed with Sabalenka that the main consideration should be tennis outcomes. According to that research, Sabalenka is not in line with the way that the majority of people, especially tennis fans, view recognition and influence in the contemporary world. She is engaged in an unwinnable battle against cultural change. This historic recognition for Gauff will have a lasting legacy that goes well beyond 2025. Your everlasting biography includes your designation as one of the most influential individuals. For the remainder of her life, it will be a part of every profile she creates. Opportunities that would not otherwise arise are made possible by it. It makes her a significant figure outside of her sport. Long after a tennis career is over, that kind of recognition is still valuable. Sabalenka will unlikely win more Grand Slams and other events, but she will never receive this particular honor until she drastically alters the way she uses her public platform. More information on both players was disclosed by Aryna Sabalenka's response to Coco Gauff reaching Time's most influential list. Gauff is creating a legacy that will outlive her playing career because she recognizes that influence goes beyond awards. Sabalenka demonstrated that cultural recognition is not a guarantee of tennis prowess alone. The difference between their methods characterizes the success of current athletes.